All right, Jeff. Zarling, is it? I'll let you explain who you're with, because I knew you from Dawa. Yeah,
right.
But we're here with Roughneck Coffee. So,
right.
What's going on with Roughneck Coffee?
So we're a small business development and consulting firm in Williston, working with a number of different companies. And actually, the background story is I bought a grain elevator, looked for a way to redevelop it, and we've looked at craft breweries and talked to somebody about coffee. And over the last year and a half of talking about coffee and learning about it, and I like coffee, just kind of got into the business idea of creating a good coffee, targeted to the people who are fueling America. And that's where Roughneck Coffee came from.
And give a plug for your other company, Dawa, which is where I met you a number of years ago. I want to say in Minneapolis, actually, at a conference. And then you hosted a number of conferences. I'm thinking of the Minot Investment Conference off the top of my head. Of course, then you do the oil and gas show up in Williston every year. But the reason I bring it up is we talk so much about the reinvention of business plans going on in the oil and gas world because of the technology. Our business, the media business, we were just talking before the air, we had to reinvent ourselves too and find a few different alternative revenue streams or whatever it might be. Talk to me a little bit about how you had to reinvent your business to accommodate with the oil and gas.
Yeah, well, I was in the IT industry in the 90s, moved my company to Williston, and we work with a lot of small businesses for a lifestyle, living in around family. And doing that in a town of 12,500 at the time, we had to, apply our services to the marketplace, which is working with a lot of small companies. So you have to evolve and adapt to what their needs are. And you talk about the market changing in the media world and just in the oil and gas industry, everybody's changing. And like you were talking earlier, where people get their information from has changed. So helping our clients communicate who they are and what they do differently. Online, obviously, social media is a big part of that. You kind of have to be continually adapting.
Yeah, it's, for me, 2009 really changed my whole outlook on things. I had a real estate publication, so I was forced to change. The oil and gas really opened my eyes. And in fact, you have a comment from one of our previous interviews that was in one of my music montages that I still tell people, I still reiterate, which is, you were the first one to really let people in the Bakken know that you need to envelop yourself in the community by going to church with these people, by going to school with these people, that we're not just trying to make money off these people. No, we're slowly building a community together. Did that ever dawn on you?
Well, I mean, my wife grew up in Williston, so I think what we had talked about at the time was about how all these people were descending on the Williston Basin and talking about the oil and gas industry ruining the community. But I think, and that was an outside perspective, I don't think what they realized was the people of the area, we were the oil and gas industry, right? Been there since the 50s, since the 70s, since those previous, boom cycles. So the people of the oil and gas industry were the people of the community. That perception that it was us versus them was an outside perception. I think that's what we talked about a lot.
It was, and I remember just going through these different oil and gas communities, and again, there was this outside perspective that when you get into the inside perspective, it's amazing how much of the communities really do embrace the overall industry because the energy economy is so vast. Talk to me about the energy economy all the way to where you've got Roughneck Coffee, so we'll tie it back in.
Well, the energy economy obviously is, driving economic activity in North Dakota and western North Dakota. Obviously, we saw a large downturn there. Looks like we're seeing some increase in activity, but it impacts everything that we do. The businesses in the community, and how it's evolved. Well, talking about what we're doing here again, it's just. Roughneck Coffee was created to celebrate the men and women of the oil and gas industry, right? And provide them a high-quality coffee brand. When people think about specialty coffee, they think about, maybe Fruit Coffee and maybe like the Seattle vibe and some of those type of things. This is good specialty coffee for the day-to-day. This is for the people who get their fingernails dirty.
I was going to say that I took a glass here, and I'm drinking it, a mug, and it's what we used to call newspaper coffee, where it actually stains the side of the cup. So it's a pretty healthy, hearty cup of coffee. Kind of winding down here, and we're out in the Bakken here at the Williston Basin Oil and Gas Show. And like I mentioned, Jeff Zarling does a number of shows himself, so I'm going to give you the opportunity just to plug your business, and also, well, maybe we'll start off with, first talk about the coffee once again. What's the next steps with this? You've got a brand, you've got kind of a product now. Are you going to be in truck stops? Are you going to be at just conferences? What's the next step with Roughneck Coffee, and then transition into a nice little plug for your current business?
Okay, so Roughneck Coffee, we sell roasted coffee, whole bean and ground, and related merchandise online and through special or select retailers, which in our case we're leading with, like Air Gas On-Site Safety, who we're with today. They sell our products at their stores. That's where the oil and gas people go to get their PP&E and their safety training, so they can pick up a bag of coffee while they're there. So yeah, and as far as our oil show, we created that in 2011. Like I said, we were kind of in the mix of all this stuff that was going on. People needed a place to connect and conduct business because there were all these new companies and nobody knew who anybody was, and the traditional marketing wasn't working for them. So we just wanted to create like a business after hours, get about 20 companies together. And our first year it was about 250 companies. So we were meeting a need. And now we're in our 8th year. And so it's the 8th annual Bakken Oil Product and Service Show. And it's products and services for people to connect and do business. There's no conference content, none of that stuff. That's where people go to see what's going on with products and services.
And this is an outdoor thing where a lot of people bring in a lot of the stuff, or no?
No, it's in the Raymond Center in Williston. So October 3rd and 4th this year. There's more information at BakkenOilShow.com.
BakkenOilShow.com. Okay, I know I've been in the past. It's been a few years because it is up in Williston.
Right.
You know, and that's where the heart is, though. I mean, you got to, you know.
We attract the day-to-day guys. That's what we say. Some of these conferences are geared towards middle management and up, and more strategic and you know, that kind of leadership group, talking strategy and that type of thing, and investment. We attract the day-to-day people out in the field, from the production foreman and some of the optimization engineers down to, again, the guys getting their fingernails dirty.
Yeah, and you know as well as I do, some of these trade shows are only for engineers, are only for water engineers, are only for, and yours is just the day-to-day guys. Anybody can come, but that's who you really cater to.
Yep.
Okay.
A lot of the day-to-day guys and gals. I mean, there's a lot
of women. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were at the job fair a couple weeks ago, and one of our biggest fans, she's a heavy equipment operator for B&G Oilfield Services. So yeah, she loves our stuff.
Jeff Zarling, thank you.